All right, everyone. Thanks for joining another cast of NGS. This time we got ourselves some Porkslap and some Screaming Weenies. That wouldn't be very appropriate for Twitch, so we're going to keep the Screaming Weenie in our pants for now. So, we got ourselves a Division D match, and we should be going very shortly. So, first map of the night, we're going to be heading on off to Battlefield of Eternity. And some nice smack talk in the chat. I can't wait for that 20k hero damage Junkrat to pop up on the Screaming Weenies. Oh baby, I'm excited. 20k Junkrat. Be taking it to HGC, boys. So, Battlefield of Eternity. Let's jump on into the draft. And the thing to keep into account for Battlefield of Eternity is that there's two kind of key ways to play this. You can either play this as a map where you fight the enemy team, or you try to just race the enemy team. Both cases will result in some form of fight. The question is, how much will the enemy team be able to successfully fight you and stop your race? What I mean by that is, if you go with a race comp, let's say you got a Hanzo. Hanzo can poke with his arrows pretty far away still without actually being next to the mortal. So if your full 5-man is trying to defend, you're going to eat the DPS of Hanzo. And if you're eating that DPS, well, eventually you guys have to back up if you don't have an appropriate hero to sustain through that damage. Now, the benefit of having a fight comp is if you can wipe them, you just clear up the immortal for free. Now the downside is if you go too hard on a fight comp without the ability to burn early game, kill them, they respawn, they still win the race. That's not what you want to do in that sort of situation. You want to still craft something to give you the ability to burn immortal. And that's where you'll often see compositions where one burns, 4 defend. And that tends to be much more successful than a team that has basically 5 people who have to fight, 5 people who win and die based on that, and then finally the ability to clean up, because you have to play for the late game if you can make it to the late game. Even if you play a 5-man fight comp, 5-man fight comp, pretty on paper, not so good often in practice. So we saw Vala in the map. Vala is largely out of the meta, but she is still very strong on this map. I'm not sure she's ban worthy, to be frank. She's good on this map, but she's not ban worthy, in my opinion. Now, the first pick we're going to see is Chromie on the side of Screaming Weenies. I thoroughly do not like a first pick Chromie. You honestly should just pick up Gazlo at that point. That's going to sound really mean, but the problem is Chromie basically says, okay, you've told us what you're playing. Now we're going to draft a comp that will annihilate your Chromie and potentially still raise. So let's draft Genji, a good one for instance. Draft Genji, dive Chromie, kill Chromie. And the picks on the side of Porkchop, well, we're going to see Diablo and Hanzo. This is where I don't understand the Chromie first pick. And that's where the Vala ban doesn't make really any sense. Because, frankly, there's Hanzo. Hanzo does what Vala does infinitely better. Everything that Vala can do, Hanzo does better. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And it seems like maybe someone's watched a little bit of the HGC playoffs this weekend, but Vala's not the ban. So you pick up Chromie at this point. And your goal is like to outrange the Hanzo, but Chromie doesn't really bring any raise. And pickup is Kerrigan and Johanna. I can sort of understand this to a little degree. The comp of Screaming Weenies is doing what I said. You have two choices. You can go with the fight comp or the burn comp. At this point, they've opted to pretty much fully commit to fight comp. And their fight comp is Kerrigan and Chromie. I don't like it. Kerrigan is not that great of a hero. On this map, I'd say even less so, because Kerrigan's strength is her ability to fight you early game and snowball the advantage your team has. So there isn't much of a laning. There isn't anything to gank. They've taken out. They've essentially limited themselves as a gank comp without gank potential on a map that's a 2-lane map. So at this point, the combo is essentially Kerrigan pulls, stuns, Rome drops the Dragon's Breath, drops her Q, and Johanna can potentially pull them back in if needed into Rome's Dragon Breath. Now, how well that works, we'll shortly find out. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not going to be a pretty situation here. Like, I'm not expecting the execution to be on point for such a what I'd consider a combo heavy team comp at this point. So we got the Stukov ban coming out from Porkslap. Porkslap, I like the ban from the Stukov. The problem is they're limiting themselves now on supports without having picked up a support. The Arthas ban, I'm not understanding it at the moment. Don't solo lane with an Arthas except for very strange situations. And additionally, Johanna doesn't have an issue with Arthas because she has the Iron Skin. There's only the Kerrigan who you'd have to be worried about. Kerrigan's DPS almost entirely comes from her combo, not from her autos. So we're going to see Uther as the pickup on the side of Porkslap. I'm not sure if that means they're looking to de-storm and stun out the Kerrigan. So like if Kerrigan jumps on in, they tear her apart because she gets annihilated from Uther, Diablo, and Blaze. Like Kerrigan, if she jumps in, can get overpowered, charged, stunned, and maybe even further stunned. And that's a dead Kerrigan. Like there's no saving Kerrigan at that point. And with the best healer essentially for Kerrigan and like throw a D shield on Kerrigan, she builds up her shields, then she comes out of the D shield and you have to burn through all the shields she has since built up, and so she's very hard to kill like that. So the Uther pickup is interesting because it kind of denies them the ability to have a strong support with Kerrigan, although Uther is not a very strong support in general. He has his place, but it's much more limited than the case of a Malfurion. So the Leoric has been picked up and Lily has been picked up. Lily is a competent healer. Her blinds at this point are going to do mostly minimal. We're talking about Diablo, Blaze, and potentially Uther on the front line. The DPS on their team isn't really going to be hindered by Lily at all. I mean, Adventure Time is scary sometimes, but not going to be scary for Hanzo this time around. Now, if we go and take a look at their comp, Leo should win against the Blaze. He should win. The slows from Leo will help Kerrigan land combos, Chromie land her Q, her Ws, and Lily potentially can help there too, but she'll be most likely going with the Jugs and not the Warder Dragon to sustain for the team. At this point, they just need to pick up another ranged damage dealer. I had a Porkslap. Instead, they opt for the Thrall, and I really don't like that. And I don't like Thrall because you're playing against a Kerrigan. That's now potentially 4 people for them to be stun locked. And you want to be able to poke from range. Li Ming would have been infinitely better here, for instance, because for one, you can blow up the Kerrigan. You can play pretty safe. You shouldn't ever get caught in a combo because you blink away from it. Now, we'll be heading into that in a moment. So based on these two drafts that we're seeing, I'm giving this game to Porkslap. For one, they got a great name. Although Screaming Weenies has quite a quality logo. I mean, it's pretty top notch. So if we take a look at the standings right now, Porkslap and Screaming Weenies are near the bottom of the brackets. Porkslap has won themselves a domination, netting themselves 3 points this season. Screaming Weenies has only won a single match the entirety of the season so far. So right now, I'd be a little hard pressed to imagine Screaming Weenies walking away, especially after my thoughts on the actual draft. Now, for Screaming Weenies, we got Pez on that Chromie, Udunomancer on the Johanna, Brogman on the Adventure Time Lily, Mewmin 13 on the Kerrigan, and finally we got Tetracheus. Oh my god, this is gonna be hard. Tetracheus. We're gonna call him Tat on the Leo arc, and that is going to be your Screaming Weenies. On the other side, we got El Duke 85 on the Diablo, PS Gregorius on the Uther, El Burrow on the Hanzo, Betasaurus on the Thrall, and finally got PS Puber on the Blaze. So we got the pull already happening. There's an overpower stun onto the Johanna. We got a lot of damage going back and forth. Chromie landing some damage. And at this point, it's pretty much everyone doing the deeps. It's a deep stance footsie battle going on. So let's take a look at the level ones. No one should be going down. There comes Mewmin coming on in. He should have his combo available very shortly. El Duke and PS Gregorius taking a lot of damage there. We're gonna have to drop the PS since two of them have that name. There comes the combo, a dry combo. Overpower, pull back Johanna. She's eating damage. She does have the Iron Skin available. Not a big deal. El Duke taking too much damage. He's gonna have to back out. So one thing I want to point out is, as a tank, you don't want to take free damage just willy-nilly. You want to take damage that's meaningful, meaning like you walk up into the wave so your team can actually capture it, or you grab the globe so the enemy won't capture it. In the top lane, we do have that Leo winning that pretty handedly at the moment. Mewmin's been spotted out. There's a pull, no stun, very dry combo. El Duke coming on in with another stun on Udunomancer. So Betasaurus in no man's land. Ooh, nice try from Pez, trying to land that Dragon's Breath. Now, this is kind of like your classic mistake as a lower team, comparing it to like a Division A or Heroic Division team, HEC Open, any of those things. Because this is, let's be fair, this is the lowest division in Nexus Gaming. So there's a lot of things you can learn to do to improve yourself. So for starters, you'll see that the team there's odd drafts and odd choices across the board. Damage going across multiple members. Very limited focus on the damage. So let's break that down. First, you want to limit the damage exposure you take. If you're Betasaurus, you shouldn't be going in at all at this point. You're not confirming a kill. Unless you can confirm a kill, you do not go in as Thrall. If you're El Burrow, the only thing you should be getting hit by is potentially a Q and a lucky Chromie doing W. If you're Gregorius, you get hit by nothing because you're not killing anything at this point. In the top lane, well, you're going to get hit because it's a 1v1. We got Screaming Weenies getting the Immortal. Very nice timing. This is actually a great job from him. On the other hand, you'll see Porkslap making a mistake. They opted for the Siege Camp, which is going to do infinitely worse than the Shaman Camp will do. At this point, Puber is going to have to deal with that. Both teams will circle around and kind of do the waiting game. But at this point, there's a lot of damage coming on out. Say goodbye to Kerrigan, sticking her head out, getting it chopped off. We got the guillotine in action there. And so they even it up. Another pull onto Udunomancer. So There's a root coming onto Grogman. It's not going to be enough. There comes the arrows. Not going to connect with who they want. Gregorius is in a very bad position. Needs to get out and out. He's at less than 90 health at one point there. He needs to go back and tap. He should hopefully have his tap available. We're going to see him rotate up. He has no mana. He needs to go back. This is a classic mistake a lot of people do, is they overstay when they were given a second lease on life. So this bottom camp did pretty much nothing. Top camp did pretty much nothing. Both teams clearing it up. Gregorius is really overstaying. Porkslap is going to get heavily punished here. I can see it already. So Udon Mancer coming on in, trying to bully. We don't get enough bullying going on. There they go. There's going to be the kill on Gregorius. And there's a charge. Nothing for nothing right now. A Fetosaurus going to have to back out. Mumin looking for the kill. Another dry combo. So if you're a Kerrigan, never do that. There's a reason why it's called a combo, and it's not because you can use one and then the other. It's because you should be using them together in unison to have an optimal combo. If you throw out a stun, it's going to most likely not land on anyone and do next to nothing of value, which we saw there. And you saw Mumin use his Q at another point, which means his stun is down for his combo, and if his stun is down, well, odds are you're not going to land it. So Porkslap actually falling behind in this. This is one of those situations where a teamfight comp can often get ahead, but this is more so, to me, the misplaying on the side of Porkslap. Porkslap just letting themselves get slapped around there and let Screaming Weenies make themselves some pork chop sandwiches. And they're going to pay dearly for this. I mean, their comp has a Hanzo. They have a serrated arrows. There's no reason not to be able to win that race. We also have Crash Lightning already at 12 stacks. So Fetosaurus is getting a lot of stacks, which is very, very good. He's going to be scary and very scary as the game goes on. We have the Mana Tide coming out. We got the follow through as well. This Mortal is not going to do too much. We got Elduke going on in overpower, not going to be much, and we kind of have Gregorius just like tanking that damage. Fetosaurus going to be going down. He's going to make it past. They're going to not chase. Mumin actually queuing in. There's a nice stun coming on out, but no follow up and say goodbye to Diablo. The hammer of ass whooping comes on out onto Johanna, and nothing for nothing comes from that. So that's a communication issue, and there's the time loop coming out. There's a lot of damage on Alburo. Dunamancer not getting in there. There's definitely communication issues here between both teams. Elduke should have known that his team wasn't coming in, or his team should have known he was going in. And Pez dropping that time loop, the rest of the team should have known that he was doing that, and they could have gotten the kill on Alburo. There's a pull onto Fetosaurus, and nope. If you're out of position, you're bound to get slapped. And there's more pork chop sandwiches. We're now up to 4 pork chop sandwiches. There's another pull. There's a kill onto Uther. There is potentially another kill onto Elduku. Got Mumin going in, but he's going to be paying the price here. Oh man, one more hit and he would have been a goner. And we have the Ghost of Uther disappearing on us. So Porkslap looking pretty messy right now, I gotta say. We got Poober just giving up the soak completely. This is not what you do as a solo laner, guys. Your job is to sit here, soak those lanes all day, all night. And if you're behind, you need to be soaking those lanes 24/7. And guess what? You won't be getting any overtime pay for your soak. But you gotta accept it. Basically what happens in this situation is Poober is putting his team further behind. They both pick up the shamans, which they need to, but they didn't need Poober there to actually do that at all. So they now have the race potential. We're actually not going to see them try and contest this on the side of Screaming Weenies. This is very odd. I think they've gotten in a false sense of ownage here, in that they basically are like, yeah, we can't lose. We've already pwned them really hard. I mean, they're up to 6 kills. And we have level 10s. But they're facing a Hanzo, and their team comp is absolutely terrible at racing. And there's the Mumin going on in. There's the Entomb. Are we going to see kills here? Fetisaurus is getting low. There's the Jug coming on out. And say goodnight to one member already of Pork. There's another one going down. They're chasing Poober, and he will make it on out. So let's take a look at that. What's going on there? We have Porkslap not ready for that engagement. We have the Entomb come out. We have all the heroics come on out. They managed to secure the kills very quickly and very cleanly while taking nearly no damage. You can see Base Immortal needs... What is Fetisaurus doing? He's running face first into those guys. You do not run face first. We got Hanzo who finally secures it, and they still get a big beefy Immortal. Now, a big beefy Immortal on the side of Porkslap. He's about 50% HP shield. They have their heroics almost all available once again on the side of Screaming Weenies, so this should be a pretty defensible Immortal. It's not too early in the game. And there's the combo coming out. There's the stun on Johanna. There's a follow-up stun. Nothing else coming out. We actually have combustion. I didn't even realize that nor expect that. There's APOC. APOC is coming out dry. Not going to catch anyone. There's the pull from Kerrigan. There's the Sunder on the chase. Mumin actually getting pulled closer to El Bureau. And we got the D shield coming on out, keeping one member alive. Mumin super low. There they go. As messy as it can be, but they still secure a kill onto the side of Screaming Weenies. And Johanna getting pretty low, but she'll be able to live to fight another day. So this Immortal has gotten a lot of value overall because Screaming Weenies has opted to try to fight, went too far out, and were screaming for justice, but they didn't get the justice that they wanted because, well, they're facing Uther. Uther is the one who's bringing that hammer of justice. So, Immortal gets cleared up. Fetisaurus way out in left field. Say goodbye. Porkslap, don't save him. Please, leave him be. Nice pickup by Pez. Now, they're still trying to chase. They really need the Blessed Shield if they wanted to chase there. They could have locked him down. Pez way out there. They need, if they can turn on Pez, there's the time loop. There's the stun on Chromie. No overpower though from El Dooku. El Dooku, you got that, baby. Entomb coming on out. There's the pull into the stun. Entomb completely whiffs. There's the slow. There's PS Gregorius coming on in, trying to save. There's the catch. There's the jugs being burnt. And everyone is up on the side of Screaming Weenies. Now, there was a very big critical mistake there. The critical mistake was on the side of El Dooku. El Dooku goes for the Chromie, doesn't overpower the Chromie, and the team doesn't focus Chromie down. She walks away. She's at full life at this point. We had the Hanzo Dragon Arrow come out, and well, it did nothing. It was burnt, wasted. It'll thankfully be up for the next Immortal phase. The good news for them is they got this front wall. There's a ton of deaths on the side of Porkslap right now. So once again, we're going to have the side of Screaming Weenies picking up their Shaman's Camp appropriately. They're burning through this pretty quickly, which I definitely approve of. On the other side, they don't have it. This fort's almost down, but they have a huge window for racing. The bad side, and the bad news for Porkslap is that they are right underneath them. There's the Entomb, and they're all trapped. There comes the APOC. A double stun from there. There's a Sunder follow-up. Mumin going in really deep. He has absolutely no man. There comes the D-Shield. Gregorius is not going to be living here, potentially. Tad is going to be going down first. Uther goes down. There's another kill for the side of Screaming Weenies, and this is looking good for Screaming Weenies. Screaming their way to victory. So top is pushing in. They're going to get themselves this fort, guaranteed at this point. They have terrible clear though. Now, because they have such... Whoa, we missed that. We had Pez picking up another kill here. Now, let's look at some of these talents that we see. We have a Q-Bill coming on out. We got the Hand of Protection. We have the Blessed Champion here. Full serrated arrows. We got the Ninja Assassin. We have Diabolical Momentum, typical Diablo builds. We have the Devastating Charge here. We also have the Endurance Stim Pack, Oil Dispersal, the Grill and Kill, Combustion, and Fuel Lake. This is absolutely 100% a critical mistake. Perhaps like the biggest mistake of Poober's life. They're facing a Chromie with Time Loop. They have an Entomb. They have Omega Storm and all that. Jump in the bunker, baby. Now jump in there and you win. Like, that's pretty much all they need to do on the side of Porkslap is jump in a bunker, call it a day, win the game. But they didn't, and so Pooper has made the biggest mistake of his life by choosing that. Fetisaurus getting absolutely annihilated there. There comes Adisha, but he runs right into the loving arms of Tats Entomb. Come home to the Skeleton King, baby. They are now pushing their way in. There's the combustion, not going to be good enough, and they secure themselves a second kill. Pooper walking on back, knowing his own fate in advance, as he has himself some foresight, and he will be going down as well. This is potentially a game. 2 members down. Diablo is going to be going down here again. No, there comes the APOC. Managed to get to. Uther is now down. El Dooku going to be going down, and that is 100% game at this point as they march their way to victory onto this core. Screaming Weenies take a comp that I don't have faith in and abuse the mistakes of Porkslap. We had 18 pork chop sandwiches, boys. 18. I hope you're hungry because Porkslap just absolutely fed Screaming Weenies this game. And that is game number 1 for you guys. We'll be right back with game number 2. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at some of those stats. We had Hanzo dishing out 42k. We had Thrall dishing out 41k for almost 42. Pez dispensed this guy some DPS because he's sitting at the 65k mark. Leo, Kerrigan. And then on the bottom end, we had Blaze and Diablo, basically. Alongside of the sports, of course. Uther only managed 37k, 62k. Now, this was the critical mistake. Like I said, don't do it. And as was pointed out in my chat, literally no cleanses were used to stop the time loop or temporal loop. Sorry, the loop never stopped. They had the tools to stop it, never used it once. On the other side, we had the Laws of Hope, the Conviction, the Blessed Momentum, Holy Fury, and Holy Renewal on the other side. Whoa, what is this build? Okay, we had Mithril Mace, Unyielding Despair. We didn't go the Spooky Ghost build. They didn't need to. The Drain is fine. Diablo, we had a ton of value out of that. Then we had the Sharpened Blades, Psionic Pulse, Bladed Momentum, Maelstrom, Double Strike, Aggressive Defense. Other side, we had the Deep Breathing instead of the other 2 talents that are usually they go to, but because they went Temporal Loop, this makes perfect sense there. We also had the Bronze Talons, the Dragon's Eye there, Temporal Loop like we saw multiple times, Bye-Bye, and finally Shifting Sands. We also had, I'm actually surprised they didn't go Overdrive. If they went Overdrive, they would have 100% 100 to 0 people by themselves. Free Drinks, Hindering Winds, Let's Go, Jug of 1,000 Cups, Surging Winds, and Pick Me Up. I haven't played Lily actually since her last rework, so I'm going to skip from commenting on that. So sit on tight. We got some